because I know you mean everything to Christ, and Christ means everything to me.
I called on the Lord. I said, man, Father, this is real. Will you watch over me? Will you raise them up to be strong? I'm just a man with flesh. This is what you called for in your scriptures. You said they wore studs and fringes, they got it on. You said they follow the law, they doing it. You said under your house shine, they ought to love one another. And they doing it.
Hey, what's going on, Detroit? What's going on, brothers, sisters? Yahbashim Shabrak Thumb. All right, we got the Monday night history class going on. I got with me the mighty priest and officer 1000 Mashah. Right. And tonight we're going to be getting in the history of Christmas. Okay, we're going to be getting into why we celebrate Christmas today, why we celebrate it the way that we do, how it was brought to America, why we do the things that we do. And like we do in all I.S.U.P.K classes, we're going to break down the scriptures, all right, and just teach you the truth of the Bible, the truth of what's going on in our lives, all right, amongst Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Okay, so make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. All right, the I.S.U.P.K is the only place you're going to learn information that is going to help you out of the condition that you're in. All right, this Monday night history class is extremely important for our people because we're giving you the history from our perspective. You're not hearing history from the Europeans' perspective. For too long, we grew up here in the society, you understand, learning the culture of another nation, learning how Christopher Columbus was this great conqueror for Europeans, how they teach you that the Romans and the Greeks were all these great empires, and these are nations that we should look up to. That's their culture. That's their history. You understand? But too many of us grew up not knowing our history. All right, so we're going to see as we get into, how Christmas came over here to America. Again, this is the history of another nation. This is the history of another nation's culture. Oh, Salakia. This is the history of another nation's culture. And we're going to see how it was brought
There
here.
you go. There you go.
Why we're celebrating it today. Hey, shalom, Adawan.
Shalom.
Yep, shalom. Yahbashim Shabrak
Thumb.
All right, so again, we got the mighty priest and officer 1000 Mashah in the building. All right, Thawada Adawan for coming in.
Come.
All right, so let's get to it again. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Okay, get this information out to our people. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna share my screen.
Right.
Can you see this Adawan on your screen?
Come.
Okay,
Yep, it's fine. It's fine.
All right, Most High in Christ. So this article right here, okay, it says it's on how Washington Irving shaped Christmas in America. All right. Many of us, I don't know about you, Adawan, but I never heard about this man until the I.S.U.P.K. A lot of us are here inside of America and Canada, and we have no idea who Washington Irving is.
That's right.
Right? So this article right here is just letting us know a little bit about who he was is, all right, and how he brought Christmas to America. So it says, quick shout out to the chat. All right, again, shalom to everybody joining us. Shalom, Shamayam Matar Yahawada. Shalom, Kiana, Caroline Radsville, Shalom Yao Shema Thamba Shem Yao Shah.
Them sisters don't miss a class, boy. Them sisters don't miss a class. That's all right.
Cuz,
I see them in every class.
damn right.
I'm proud to see that too. That lets you know when you start seeing the same faces over and over that what the generals, what Commander Joan YAHANNA has passed down through the generals, through the captains, through the officers, is starting to get through to the people.
God, damn right, sir. You know what I mean? I even hear this truth being echoed outside of the I.S.U.P.K.
That's right.
I mean, a lot of people speaking on the works that we do. You know what I mean? They see the good work that we do. Some of them are just too scared to get inside the school with us. You understand? But they absolutely hear what we're saying, what Commanding General YAHANNA is saying. You know what I mean? And Commanding General YAHANNA is out here changing lives.
That's right.
Yeah, it's definitely heavy to see these sisters in the class. All right, so let's get right into this article.
Salakia, go ahead.
Yep, Khan, sir. Okay, Khan. All right, so we're going to get right into this article. And,
Before you get started on that, Doctor, look at here. I want to, hold on 1 second. Hey, y'all got to hold that down. Y'all got to hold that down. Salakia.
Yeah, Khan, sir, go
get
ahead.
started. I hope everybody in the chat and everybody that's on, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But most of all, I hope you got your pen and paper with you because you're going to want to write down notes. The reason this brother getting ready to take the lead because he's going to come to you with some academics, you understand, on a lot of this Christmas mess that y'all be keeping. Let's get it.
Khan, sir. All right, so it says, thanks to the legend of Sleepy Hollow, his creepy tale about an ungainly school teacher who vanishes mysteriously in the woods, Washington Irving is perhaps best known to modern readers as an author to read on Halloween. But Irving wrote much more about Yuletide, so widely imaginative, in fact, that he's often credited with creating Christmas in America as we know it. Salaki Adwan, have you ever heard of Yuletide?
Khan.
Yeah, Yuletide is a festival that we're going to get into. And this is something, again, before the I.S.U.P.K, I've never heard a thing about. You know what I mean? And for our people, it's important to know this because we're going to see where these customs are coming from. You know what I mean? I grew up in the Christian church celebrating Christmas like everybody else, thinking that this holiday had something to do with Christ. You understand? Something to do with the stories that we read in the Bible and thinking that somehow we were honoring Christ by celebrating this thing. All right? When we start seeing what Yuletide is, you'll see that this has absolutely nothing to do with Christ. All right? And so it says, he did not invent the holiday, biographer Andrew Burstein notes, but he did all he could to make minor customs into major customs. So this man right here is the reason that some of the major customs that we celebrate in Christmas are here today. Okay, again, this is a man named Irving Washington. It says, among Irving's biggest contributions to Christmas in America was his promotion of St. Nicholas as a beloved character, laying the groundwork for the figure we'd eventually embrace as Santa Claus. Now, these two things right here is where all the traditions come from that we celebrate in Christmas today. When
Let me ask you, does this article go into how certain traditions of Christmas relates back to paganism and all of that?
So this is just an introduction kind of
Okay.
Irving Washington.
Okay.
All right. But this man right here, and these are the two main things, is he had the custom of Yuletide that he celebrated, and he had a love for Saint Nicholas.
Okay. So what is Yuletide?
Concert. Yep, let's get I'm gonna get into that. So Yuletide is basically, it's like a Germanic festival that they were celebrating. I think it was the Sweden, the Dutch, Netherlands, Denmark, different places around. I think that's Northern Europe. And that was a celebration that they had amongst their people. So let me jump down a bit. I'm going to read one more thing. It says, Slacky, where is it? Yeah, so right here it says, Mitchell, a Columbia medical professor and U.S. senator, seemed to know everything about everything. And Irving poked fun at Mitchell's know-it-all sensibility with his fictional account of Manhattan, which includes some tall tales about its origin. Among Irving's yearns was a story about the shipwreck of a Dutch scouting party on Manhattan, where one of its members receives a vision in which good St. Nicholas came riding over the tops of the trees, and that self-same wagon wherein he brings his yearly presents to children. Nicholas tells the Dutch to settle on the island, St. Nick, in a sense, becoming the founding father of the most famous city in America. Slacky was this last part, and it says, Irving's affection for St. Nicholas proved durable in 1835. He helped found the St. Nicholas Society of the City of New York, serving as its secretary until 1841. Beyond his interest in Nicholas, Irving advanced Christmas as the festive pageant of presents and feasting that now dominates the American winter calendar. Okay, so this man basically had a love for Christmas. He had a love for that celebration. And as he came over to America, he wrote different books. He wrote different books that people fell in love with. They had different plays. He founded the American Society of St. Nicholas, all right, or the St. Nicholas Society in America. This man, he had an admiration of this character, St. Nicholas, all right? And so this is where this whole festival comes from. Let me get this last one here. It says he had traveled to England. Yeah, this is about Yuletide. So he says he had traveled to England in 1815, where various personnel and professional interests kept him abroad until 1832. The sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon Gent, which greeted American readers in 1819, contained a smattering of essays and short stories, including the iconic Sleepy Hollow, but its pieces on Yuletide helped revive interest in the holiday. Okay? And so again, his writings were on Yuletide. All right? That was the festival that he grew up loving. And this is what he wrote, the different books and essays inside of America to try to promote this holiday. Right? Yeah, so let's drop that. That's basically who Washington Irving was. Okay? Again, he wrote all these different Christmas essays, or Yuletide and St. Nicholas, and he had a love for these things, right? He had a love for these things. He was of Dutch background, and he brought over those customs to America. All right? And that festival, that Christmas festival, that Yuletide festival, was actually banned in America because during that time of Christmas, people were just out drinking and brawling in the streets.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah,
it wasn't until later. Salaki, it wasn't until later in American history that Christmas became super famous. And can you tell me, anybody in the chat, this go for y'all too, can you tell me what was the song and what was the company that made Christmas super great in America? This gonna be interesting. You know the song. You know the song. You may not know the company, but everybody in America should know the company. Anybody want to take a jump at it in the chat? We told you to bring your notes. Now, next week, I'm gonna ask the brother Ash y'all about what's the white boy's name?
Washington Irving.
Washington Irving. He sounded like a nigga, but he was not. He got two last names, you know.
Yeah.
Or got his last name. Yeah, no, that's about right. Julius Irving. Yeah, he got two last names. Anyway, let me. I'm gonna give it to you for time's sake. It was Montgomery Ward's. The store Montgomery Ward's in the early 1900s that caused America to become as called Christmas to become as popular as it is, and they adopted a song that a fella had written called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Everybody knows that song. That's what made Christmas so popular. Like the brother said, up until that time, Christmas was really seen. Even with Washington Irving's his efforts, Christmas was seen as a time of rivalry. It was debauchery. You know what I'm saying? It was getting ready for the whipping of the half-naked women in the streets. That's what Christmas represented to America. But Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Montgomery Ward's changed that for America and made it very popular. Go ahead.
God. Yep, that's right on point, sir. You understand? That was really it on Washington Irving, but it's a good piece to understand who this man was, because he is one of the main people who pushed for this holiday to be inside of America.
Let me pull me that scripture. Envy not the oppressor.
Sir.
Yeah.
All right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. And it says, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
You see, and that's where we, as so-called blacks, Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, this is where we just dropped the ball totally.
Okay.
We dropped it totally. A little clown, like, I don't know why I want to call this dude Irving Berlin, but that's another Irving. Washington Irving, right? But this little clown comes through and becomes successful in turning the traditions of America. Because as the brother said, until they changed it, Christmas was not this great holiday for America. In fact, more trouble was caused. You see, more trouble will cause. But this guy, he came speaking what our Native American brothers say. He came speaking with a forked tongue. You see, he came telling you what was good what was good was actually evil, but he was telling you evil was good and good was evil. That's how he was able to paint the picture on you. Go ahead. What else you got?
Cancer. Yep, that's exactly it, right? And this says right here, it says back in his homeland, Irving's homage to the holiday resonated with the public. Charles Dickens later fine-tuned the Christmas story. Jones argues, but Irving had laid the foundation. Americans embraced Irving's vision of Christmas as their own, marking the revival of a holiday that had been banned in parts of the country for the excessive drinking and fighting it spurred in the populace. You understand? Like what you were saying is right on point. Because this is another man's vision. This is one man who grew up in a household where he was in his heaven. He was in his heaven, and his family had different holidays that they celebrated. And he had this memory and nostalgia of his childhood, and he wanted to bring this to America. That envy that we have of our oppressor is one of the things that causes our destruction. Right, which is why that's such a heavy verse that you brought out, sir.
Right?
But yeah, so that's it on Washington Irving. All right, but again, this is a man that we should understand and again see the history from our perspective. Because when you read their perspective of this man, he's always going to be spoke of in a good light. Like he brought Christmas over and he helped revitalize some beautiful holiday and this and that and wrote all these beautiful books on Yuletide. We don't even know what Yuletide is, a lot of us.
Bring that out.
Right?
Jump on that.
Absolutely, sir. All right. So, yeah, let's get into Yuletide. I got an article here from Britannica. All right. And Britannica is going to lay out what Yuletide is. Okay. So it says, Yule, festival observed historically by Germanic peoples, and in modern times primarily by neo-pagans, coinciding with the winter solstice, December 21st to the 22nd, in the Northern Hemisphere, June 20th to 21st in the Southern Hemisphere. The pre-Christian festival originated in Scandinavia and was later subsumed, along with other pagan celebrations, into the Christian holiday of Christmas. Okay? It says, let me see. It says, Yule became, and this is the good stuff. This is why I'm jumping down. It says, Yule became a name for Christmas about the 9th century. And in many languages, Yule and its cognates are still used to describe that holiday. Jul in Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish. Jolud in Estonian. Jolu in Finnish, and Jol in Icelandic. The Christmas holiday. Go ahead.
Do you have anything there that say what Yule is?
Cancer. Yep.
That's what you want to get to. Get to the meat of what Yule is, and then we'll go get that scripture out of Jeremiah. I believe it is.
Cancer. I believe it was right here. Did I read that at the top?
Because that's the important part.
Yeah, Cancer. I got it right here. So like I jumped over that. So it says Yule is one of the oldest winter solstice festivals.
It's important there to let you know that Yule, Christmas, Yuletide carols ain't new. Of all the winter festivals, read that again.
Yep, is one of the oldest winter solstice festivals.
Now, if it's one of the oldest, that means it goes back before Israel was ran out of Jerusalem. It goes back before Israel, while Israel was in exile, or what was in captivity under King Nebuchadnezzar. It goes back. You understand? This whole idea of Yule is so old. It's one of the oldest festivals, winter festivals kept on the face of the earth. That means this is some old sin. That means Israelites saw this before. You saw this before 1965, 75, 85, 95, or whatever year you were born. Go ahead, read some more about that Yuletide.
Yep, sir. It says, with origins among the ancient Norse thousands of years ago. Its roots are complicated and difficult to trace, although there are several theories about how and why the festival was celebrated. It is generally agreed that Yule celebrations began as a Norse festival called Yule. Although assessments of the purpose and traditions vary, like most winter solstice festivals, themes of light, fire, and feasting are common threads. Some historians think that sacrifices were an important part of the observance, right? Either to the gods and other supernatural beings, such as elves, or to the dead, or both. You understand? Like these things.
Go ahead.
Yep, constantly. Like right on what you're saying. These things are all, down to just pagan different customs. You understand? A lot of these pagan customs, as we read through them, whether it be Valentine's Day and, Saturnalia and Easter and Ishtar, all these different festivals that we see, they're always some childish stories. You understand? About some false god, some false idol. You know what I mean? Halloween just passed, where they believe they can talk to the dead, and like all these different holidays come from a people who don't have a god.
If I could, something I wanted to point out in your article, because it's coming up pretty good on my screen. I can read it too.
God, Most High in Christ.
Wait a sec. Something about where it was reading about there was some controversy about how it started. Although assessments of the purpose and traditions vary. Like most winter solstice festivals, themes of lights, fire, and feasting are common threads. Some historians think that sacrifices were an important part of the observance, either to the gods or other supernatural entities, or to the dead, or both. Now, let me. I'll show you right here. They are trying to explain that this is fairly new. That's what they really. Even though they're telling you it's old, you see. Read up there where it say it began as Norse festivals.
So it says, it is generally agreed that Yule celebrations began as a Norse festival called Yule, although assessments of the purpose and traditions vary.
Okay, you see this? They want to take you back to the Norsemen, right? What do you get from the Norsemen? You get Vikings. You understand? You get Vikings. You get the god Thor from the Norsemen. You see that? You get the god Odin from up around that way. You get all these pagan gods from these people, right? Now, did they invent all of this kind of stuff? Get me that scripture. I believe it's in Jeremiah. Well, it talks about one going into the field cutting down a tree.
God, sir.
Now they say it began around the Nordsman time. Oh, we talking 1500. Some, I don't know when they started, but they didn't come on the scene until after we left Jerusalem. Rome brought them all the way on the scene. You see what I'm saying? Rome brought them all the way on the scene. Now read this. Jeremiah was before Rome. Am I right? Am I right?
Yep.
Jeremiah was way before Rome. You understand? Read what Jeremiah got to say about a certain tradition. Go ahead.
Sir. It says, this is Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Okay, let's stop right there. You know, the generals would be offended. My captains would be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? The officers that's over me would be so upset. Read that part again. That first sentence.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Let me ask you this. In the chat, in one word, tell me who the Most High is having this prophet talk to. Who is he? Who is the prophet talking to? This is important. This is important because Christmas shows you that our people are so ignorant, they'll worship anything and anybody, to include the dumbass tree that you just went in the yard, in the forest and cut down and drug in the house. You see, you will bow yourself. Watch this. Y'all think the ISUPK be playing with y'all? No, Christmas is in the Bible. That's what the brother, he being real nice. This is a young brother. He being real nice. I'm old. I don't have to care. I'm gonna obey them generals. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna do anything they say I can't do. But look, I'm not worried about hurting folks' feelings because they do something that's stupid as celebrating something that everything they tell you about it is a lie. However they represent Christmas to you is a lie. Okay? Read what you got.
Okay. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
So the Most High is speaking the word through the prophet, using the prophet to speak a word to one people on the face of the earth. He ain't talking. Let me get this together. He ain't talking to nobody else. You understand? This is how important this is, Israel. I know you wanna save all the good heathens in the land. You know, you got the passport bros want to save all the Filipino women. You know what I'm saying? You got all the I made it sisters want to save all the white girls and the white boys that don't talk as loud as we do. We got a lot. You want to save everybody else on the face of the earth. But read again who the Most High is talking to. Read that one more time.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
You got a few days. You know, this is that time somebody going to start singing the 12 days of Christmas. Like it's a countdown to Christmas. You got a few days to turn your back on Christmas. Starting right now today. And I'm sure brothers throughout the ISUPK have been warning you all year to leave Christmas alone. To leave it alone. So now we getting ready to tell you why it's best for you to leave it alone. And the reason it's best is because what? Read that one more time.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
What the brother's about to read, don't look at it coming from Officer Mashah, Officer Shayawam, Officer Hadayah, Captain Hadayala, coming from General Hazayam, from Commanding General Don't look at it like that. It's coming from the Most High. It's coming from Yahweh. It's coming from you calling God. And he's the Most High throughout the whole earth, over all the earth. You understand? This is where this word is coming from. Read what you got, brother.
Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Do what?
Learn not the way of the heathen.
Keep reading.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
See, he told you, so-called black man, so-called Native American, so-called, and the women included too, so-called Latino and Latina. He told you to do what? What does it say? Choose not the way. Read that again.
Learn not the way of the heathen.
To learn not the way of the heathen. Let me explain something. This is how serious the Most High is. If the way of the heathen is to take a stick and drag a hole in the ground and throw your corn in, rather than use the tools you got, he said, don't learn the heathen's way. Don't learn nothing that the heathen does. You see, the heathen think little boys are cute and sexy. He don't want you to learn the heathen's way because he think little boys are sexy. He think little girls are sexy. He think it's okay for women to be leaders in religion or to represent themselves as representing the Most High God, who himself says, I'm a man of war. How he gonna have some woman represent him? That's all heathen stuff. Everything you do that's considered to be American is heathen. Everything that you do that you consider to be Canadian is heathen. You consider it to be Mexican, it's heathen. Are you getting me, Israel? If you're doing anything on the face of the earth as a people, and that you cannot find it in these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, then you are engaged in heathen practices. You're worshiping idols. You're falling into same-sex marriages, same-sex sexual encounters. Men treat women like they garbage. Women treat men like they trash. That's where you are today. That's where we are today. And this is how we got there. Read that one more time.
Come on, sir. It says, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead, Hebrew.
Sir Salaki, if I could, because what you're saying is so heavy, and this is the reason why it's so important to get into ISUPK and learn who you are. For too long, we haven't known who we are as a people. We call ourselves black. We call ourselves the color of a crayon box. We call ourselves African, Haitian, Jamaican, Dominican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, all these different names that were put on us. But this is not our nationality. This man, Washington Irving, he knew who he was and where he came from. He was celebrating the holidays of the Dutch.
That's right.
Understand? And he's bringing over Yuletide into America as a holiday that we should be celebrating. So what you're saying is so heavy. What the prophet Jeremiah was saying is so heavy. You understand that Christmas is right here in the Bible saying not to celebrate it. So like you said.
Go ahead, read. Go ahead, keep reading.
Come on, sir. It says, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
Keep going.
God said, they deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5, they are upright as the palm tree,
Mm-hmm.
but speak not.
Mm-hmm.
They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good.
Keep reading.
Verse 6, for as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might.
Okay, let's go back up to where you started that at. Read that first part one more time. I wanted you to hear that, and everybody hear that, because it paints the picture. It lets you know when you hear it all that it's no doubt in your mind that the Bible is talking about a Christmas tree. And this is in what book?
God, so Jeremiah chapter 10.
So we're talking, what are we talking at? 800 years before Christ, maybe? We're talking about some time before Christ. The Nords didn't invent this. They were keeping Christmas right there in the Bible. You see that?
God.
And there was something the Most High went and had had the prophet tell the people, tell them don't do this. Talk to the people, tell them about this. I don't want them doing it.
God, sir.
Carl, help me out now.
All right, if I could, there's some more on Yuletide.
Okay.
So there's some stuff I want to get to. It says, in the harsh climate of Northern Europe, or Slovakia. Yeah, it says, in the harsh climate of Northern Europe, most cattle were slaughtered because they could not be fed during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Meat, therefore, was plentiful for a midwinter feast, or to leave out as an offering.
Mm-hmm.
Some contend that the original festival was a sort of Norse Day of the Dead, with the god of Odin as a major player.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Didn't we just talk about them?
That's
then
right.
We said that's what come out of the so-called Norse. That's what? Northwestern Europe. That's up there around Switzerland, all up in there. What else is back up in there?
I'm not the greatest with geography, but you have like Germany. I think you have Denmark, the Netherlands. I think Sweden's around that area.
And you hear about them in during what year? When you're talking about the 1300s, 1400s, 1500s, that's when we hear about these guys.
So this festival was before the 9th century.
Before the 9th century. The 9th century means the festival started before 900 AD. That's what they mean by 9th century. It started before 9. We know it started before 900 AD because you just read the scripture that Jeremiah wrote about this particular festival. You understand? The Most High is not stupid. Go ahead. What else you got?
Sir. It says, among Odin's many names was Jolner, and among his many duties was acting as a god of the dead. However, this has been disputed in recent years. At least one historian positing that Joel was a New Year festival intended to set the tone for the months ahead.
No, one thing we're not going to do. We're going to bring you what we find written, and they're going to say some things are controversial and all that. Look at here, the whole holiday is controversial.
God.
We don't care who taking credit for starting the holiday. We don't care. It's against the Most High.
God.
The scripture that you read let us know it started way before the 9th century. If it didn't start before the 9th century, what were they going outside, cutting down trees for, dragging them back into their house, tacking them down so that they don't move, and then dressing them up with silver and gold? What is that but a Christmas tree? I'll wait. Help me out.
Yeah, concert.
You know?
Yeah, it's gonna say it right here.
Go ahead.
It says Yule became a name for Christmas about the 9th century.
About the 9th, Yule became a name for Christmas. About the 9th century. That's when the two names begin to interplay. And the intermixing of the name became kind of solid. But you see, Jeremiah said they've been doing this a long time before the 9th century. You understand? Long before the 9th century. Go ahead. What else you got?
So it says, and in many languages, Yule and its cognates are still used to describe the holiday. Jule in Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish. Julhud or Julud in Estonian. Juhu in Finnish, and Joel in Icelandic. Christmas holiday is still referred to as Yule in the Scots language. According to the saga of King Håkon Haraldsson, also known as Håkon I or Håkon the Good of Norway, who ruled in the 10th century, the Norse Yule celebration and Christian Christmas celebration were merged during his reign. So in the 10th century, when this man right here was ruling, this is when he merged the holiday Yule and Christmas. Okay, and we see that all throughout history. We see that in America when Washington Irving came to America. And you always have different nations that come together and they merge their different beliefs and customs so that they can all be one, so that they can all live together in society. And that's a big thing that gets pushed here in America today, where people are dropping their customs and dropping their holidays. So I saw a post on TikTok just the other day where Canadians were mad as hell that Indians who are coming to Canada don't celebrate Christmas. They're telling them to go back to their country because they won't just celebrate Christmas and sing the national anthem. You understand? And so, we see that a lot. I think the Council of Nicaea, around 325 AD, you had the merging of beliefs. You have the merging of different customs. You understand? And that ideology right there is what goes against God. Right? We saw that in the story with the Tower of Babel, where they just all are coming together and trying to be one. When it said in Jeremiah, learn not the way of the heathen. Understand? Don't take on the customs of these other nations.
There you go.
We're supposed to be a different people. We're not supposed to be like everybody else. But this king right here in the 10th century or the 9th century, he merged Yule and Christmas. And why is this important? Because again, we're going to see some of the customs that we celebrate today inside of America are from the celebration of Yule.
Go ahead.
All right. It says, so the Norse Yule celebration and Christian Christmas celebration were merged during his reign. Håkon became Christian after a visit to England, and after his return to Norway, he put into law that Yule should be celebrated at the same time as Christmas. Everyone was required to have ale from a measure of grain and keep the holiday while the ale lasted, or else be subject to a fine.
Now,
so
Here's the thing: you can't fly past that. They're celebrating a holiday that goes against the scriptures, and yet the law of the land requires you to celebrate that holiday.
God.
Sound like the same place we live in today. Go ahead.
God. It says, from this point, Christmas continued to overtake Yule, although some vestiges of the original celebration remain. One of these is the Yule log, still popular today, although usually in altered form. Now, Salaki, I never saw this one. Okay. I don't know if you've seen this tradition, but I guess today they still make cakes that look like logs.
Christmas time. Understand, I grew up in a time there was a very, very popular Christmas carol, and it had these words in it: Yuletide carols being sung by a choir. You understand? Yeah. It had those those words are in there. Yuletide. We heard this word growing up. It's nothing new in America. The word, that phrase, Yuletide, it's nothing new in America. Every child has heard it. And when you start singing that song, every child will be able to join in and know that part I just said right there. You see.
Yeah, so you got, and this is the thing, right? So today you have different carols, like you said, where they say Yuletide. I think I have heard that before, actually, Salaki, where I've heard carols that say Yuletide in it. Understand? They have the cake. Another one is the mistletoe inside of people's houses. Mm-hmm. That was a celebration from Yule. All right. Mm-hmm. And this next one that I'm about to read is one of the big ones.
Whoa, back up, back that up. You back.
Yeah, right. This is you seen the log?
Yeah. Pick it up where it say it is thought.
Come on, concept. It says it is thought that the original Yule log was a large log that burned throughout the entire multi-day festival for as many as 12 days.
Now you see where they get the 12 days of Christmas from, right?
Oh, damn. Cause
I keep telling.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, Salaki.
They slapping you in the face with these people are proud of their tradition. So proud, we now imitate them.
Yep, that's heavy, sir. And you know that man Washington Irving, who wrote his books and wrote his essays in America, it was all based off of Yuletide.
You see that?
You know, his love for Yuletide and his love for St. Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the 12 days of Christmas. You're gonna get all the different, festivals that they had during Yule, all a part of the traditions that we see today.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is crazy. It is. You know, I think back to all the things we kept, that we practiced, and that we did this time of year, right? And you it's hard to believe that we did that, and at the same time it came out of our mouth that we love the Lord. He heard my cry. You know what I'm saying? That we love the Lord, but we keep Christmas. We keep the Yuletide. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, all the children know the 12 days of Christmas, what you get on the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, and 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens. God. We're a mess. We are a mess, man. We're a mess. God. Go ahead. What else you got?
Yep, cut on concept. So I hope people can see, or I hope everybody can see this image here.
What we got here?
Because that's damn near the image of a reindeer.
Okay.
All right. It says another remaining tradition is that of the Yule goat.
Mm.
In towns and cities throughout Sweden during the Christmas season, large goats are constructed out of straw. It is thought that the tradition originated in ancient times, perhaps as a tribute to the god Thor, who was said to ride in a chariot pulled by goats. And those stories that we see of Santa Claus riding inside that chariot with reindeers, that is from a Yule. That's from the Yule tradition. All right.
There it is.
Kind of concept. Like they made a goat out of straw. And this man, Washington Irving, decided to write a book. And he draws these different characters where he how would I say it? He combines Saint Nicholas with these Greek or these Salakia, these Dutch origins of the god Thor. Right.
Now you do understand, brother, that what's his name, Washington Irving. He wasn't doing nothing but what the oppressor does. You know what I'm saying? That's all he was doing. He was having a good time. Oh, here's a tradition, let's keep it. And by the way, let's make sure the slaves know how to keep it too. You see, because while he was doing all of that, I think, around 1600, 17 for sure, 18s, until they say it was illegal. While they were celebrating Christmas, they had you picking cotton and cutting down sugar cane. That's what they had us doing. You see. That's what they had us doing. And we were only given Christmas to make us love them. And look at us today. Look at us today. We love... Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to say that, I think it's interesting that, everybody will sit here and say, they're celebrating the birth of Christ, and they got a reindeer in the front of their house. They're sitting at home making some reindeer cookies, and they're saying this is about Christ.
If it wasn't so sad, it would definitely be funny. I mean, Detroit is a fairly popular city. I didn't know until recently we were that popular. But all the festivities that's going to be going on from now through Christmas, downtown Detroit, they're going everything from sales to tree lighting to I don't know. We already had the Thanksgiving Day football game here. Everything to celebrate this time of year. Let's look at we see what this tradition is, this holiday is, right? And we know it's against the Most High. So let's look at some of these scriptures that we call Christmas scriptures. All right. Let's take a look at them. Let's see what the Most High really, really, really think about us and this season of holidays, because we got a bunch of them. We just had Thanksgiving. Before that, we had Halloween. We got Christmas coming up. Someplace in the middle, they threw Veterans Day in there. We got New Year's coming up, and they're going to cop it all off with Valentine's Day. All these holidays of the oppressor that we keep voluntarily. Go ahead, give me what you got.
Constance Slaki, were you asking for a scripture?
Yeah, let's start hitting those Christmas
Constance.
scriptures. What they call Christmas. Like I said, I want to start with that one. When you come into the land, which I shall give thee,
Constance.
and I remove them people. Don't let your sons marry their daughters, and don't let your daughters marry their sons.
Yeah, Constance.
Yeah, give me that. Give me that.
Come. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 1. And it says, when the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. Verse 2, and when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them.
And do what?
Utterly destroy them.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Verse 3, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
All right. Drop that. I'm going to expound on that. Find me what Solomon married many wives and what they caused him to do. When we hook up with any nation other than the nation of Israel, we tend to act like them. We don't have a good record of causing them to act like us when we doing right by the Most High. Our record's pretty spotty when it comes to influencing the other nations to be like us. Don't get it twisted. Just because they try to dance like us, try to sing like us, try to play basketball like us, don't mean they are us, and that we have any obligation to do anything but to stay away from them. You understand? Our problem is that we've been with them so much and for so long that we're trying to be like them. We want to outwhite the white man. I remember, man, I don't know if you was even born there. It was a time we used to walk around, man, as young men. And if you couldn't go on a block in some of these cities and not see brothers trying to become Bruce Lee. You understand? Everybody all of a sudden gonna be a Chinese kung fu artist, you know. But that's how, and though those children doing that, they do it today, and as grown folks. Why you think so many people devastated that Puffy got locked up? You see what I'm saying? Why you think so many people was taken aback when something happened with Bill Cosby? Why? Because they followed those brothers into the oppressor's world, and they began to envy their oppressor. You understand? Go ahead. What else you got?
So this is 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 3. Or Slaki, verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princes, and 300 concubines.
Watch this.
And his wives turned away his heart.
His wives turned away his heart. It's tough. And those were foreign wives. Those were non-Israelite wives. They turned him towards their customs. He indeed built them groves, He built little houses for their gods, if I could. You see what I'm saying? That's what we've done when we've latched on to Christmas and all the holidays that surround it. You see that? We are adulterous, and we are committing adultery with other gods. You see that? We are committing adultery with other gods by keeping holidays like Christmas. And it's just, if somebody wants to sneak Thanksgiving in there, I'm gonna tell you it's just a downright insult. Go ahead. What else you got?
God, sir. Verse 4. And it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went for Select.
Go ahead.
It says, for Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord.
Y'all hear that?
Okay.
We're talking about King Solomon. Solomon was considered the wisest man on earth at his time, in his time. They had queens that are famous today coming and singing his praises. And yet it was something as simple as a woman from another nation that turned his heart, or women from other nations that turned his heart from following after the Most High.
Okay.
In the same way, Israelites act like Solomon, chasing a piece of raggedy tail when they chase after Christmas and all the stuff that's associated with it.
Okay.
You see
If
what
I
I'm
may
saying?
say,
Go ahead.
shoot, I have seen a brother because he's married to a woman of another nation. I see a brother stand up and say, we're not celebrating Christmas inside this house anymore. And what does she do? She leaves. You understand? She leaves and gets her own place. Why? So that she can continue to celebrate Christmas. She can continue to celebrate birthdays, Halloween, all these different customs that she grew up celebrating. You understand? And if you're a man who's weak up under a sister,
My goodness.
you're gonna follow after her gods. You're gonna say, "No, baby, I want you to stay over here. Maybe we just put the Christmas tree in a small corner, and you do that over there, and I'll try to stay over here." You know what I mean? You start to sacrifice your integrity just in order to keep a woman.
And we can see just what the time that Obama was president.
Okay.
It only take a little bit for a whole people's integrity to be gone. Because before Obama, they had the LGBT, the alphabet community. They were starting to come out. But man, when Obama got in office and made them changes, it's like we can lose this too if we say something negative concerning that community. When the Bible says, don't do that, the Most High considered that to be an abomination.
God.
And Christmas is just as bad. What else you got? What else you got over there?
God, so, okay, I got an article on Saint Nicholas. We can drop that on Yuletide. Let me share my screen.
Con.
All right, because again, this is another person that Washington Irving idolized. So he brought over, the ideas of Santa Claus riding on a sleigh with reindeer pulling a sleigh. and he mixes in Yuletide with this man named Saint Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is just a little bit on Saint Nicholas. It says, who is Saint Nicholas? Saint Nicholas is one of the most popular saints commemorated in the Eastern and Western churches, and he is now traditionally associated with the festival of Christmas. Nothing certain is known of his life, but he was probably Bishop of Myra in the 4th century. He is also known as Nicholas of Myra or Nicholas of Bari. It says St. Nicholas was known for his generosity and kindness, which gave rise to legends of miracles he performed for the poor and unhappy. As a result of this reputation, devotion to Nicholas extended to all parts of Europe. He became the patron saint of multiple countries, of charitable fraternities and guilds, and of children, sailors, unmarried girls, merchants, and pawnbrokers. Okay? So this man was basically, they say, known for his generosity. Okay, it says Saint Nicholas, Western Feast Day the 6th, Eastern Feast Day December 19th, was one of the most popular minor saints commemorated in the Eastern and Western churches, and now traditionally associated with the festival of Christmas. In many countries, children receive gifts on December 6th, Saint Nicholas Day. He is one of the patron saints of children and sailors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so this is the man right here, right, who was known for giving gifts on December 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He was known to giving gifts to children. And what do we see on December 25th? Everything is about getting gifts to children.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? These ideas that we get in Christmas today from Washington is not a celebration of Christ. You understand? He's looking at a man who, quote unquote, helped the children and helped the poor, who helped sailors and different people and whatever his agenda was. But this has nothing to do with Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It says, according to tradition, Nicholas's existence is not attested by any historical document. So nothing is certain or known of his life except that he was probably Bishop of Myra in the 4th century. According to tradition, he was born in the ancient Lycian seaport city of Patara, and when young, traveled to Palestine and Egypt. He became Bishop of Myra soon after returning to Lycia. He was imprisoned and likely tortured during the persecution of Christians by the Roman Emperor, but was released under the rule of Constantine the Great. He may have attended the First Council of Nicaea, where he allegedly struck the heretic Arius in the face. Okay, it says Nicholas's reputation for generosity and kindness gave rise to legends of miracles he performed for the poor and unhappy. He was reputed to have given marriage dowries of gold to 3 girls whom poverty would otherwise have forced into lives of prostitution, and to have restored to life 3 children who had been chopped up by a butcher, put in a tube of brine. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it on Saint Nicholas. Okay.
What scripture you got in the cut?
Yeah, we can grab Mark 7 and 9. I'll pull that up for you.
It's all about, I don't care what holiday you pick, whether it be your birthday, Mother's Day, I don't care what holiday you pick, it's all about the same thing. It's all about the same thing. We have no business doing it. We have no business keeping any of the holidays. Let me know when you got that, brother.
Yep, come on, sir. This is the book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 9. And it says, and he said unto them, full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own tradition.
That's the whole scripture?
Yeah, come on, sir.
Come. That's a heavy precept, because that's exactly what happens every so many days in America. All these good folks, our people who call themselves Christian, go and practice something like Christmas, thereby proving they hate God, but their mouths are steady saying, we love God. You understand what I'm saying? Their mouths are steady saying, we love God. But when you keep Christmas, when you cut a tree down out of the forest, or you go to Walmart and you get one packed in a box, and you drag it home, and you sit up and you telling all of anything that's ever been created, everything that God created, that the Most High created, you telling them that you hate the Most High. Think I'm lying? Check out Exodus 20, round about 5. Exodus 25. It say, and visiting the iniquities, the sins of the fathers upon the children, until the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. I say, when you celebrate Christmas, you show that you hate the Most High. Come on here, Shayawan.
If I may, sir. So,
I see you want to say something.
It's a cuz, sir. You know, when we read in Leviticus 23, it tells us in the Bible what our feast days are. It tells us what the Lord's feast days are.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see Christmas in the Bible. We don't read the children of Israel where God told them to celebrate Easter, Thanksgiving, Halloween, all these different holidays.
Mm-hmm.
None of these things are of the Lord. None of these things were days that the Most High said was important. When we take a man like St. Nicholas, you set him up on a pedestal and, you try to honor the different things that he did and what have you. Those are not days that the Lord told you to honor.
And let me throw this at you, especially when it comes to Israelites here in this hemisphere, in this Western hemisphere. We've been trying in America. We've been doing everything we can to prove that we are white, that we deserve what white folks got going on. You understand? We end up fighting ourselves just to be ourselves. You understand? Because every leader, name one, prior to Commandant Joe and YAHANNA and the brothers that started the school, name any black leader that told us as a people we need to stay separate from these people. Any black leader that you can remember that talked to the people and told the people, keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. You see that? None have done that. Not one until the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge came along. You see. Go ahead. What else you got over there?
Come on, sir. So I got one more article we can go through. right? Just showing some more of the customs of Christmas.
Let's take a look at it.
Sir. So, because we saw in Yuletide, right, in the 9th century, there was a man who connected Christian festivities, what they called Christian festivities, and the festivities of Yule. But what are these Christian festivities that they connected it with? It was Saturnalia, which was a Roman festival. All right. So we can read a bit on that.
Just a little bit.
And we can probably go through some scriptures. All right. So this is from Britannica. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Oh, no, that's good. So it's from Britannica, and it's on Saturnalia, which was the most popular of Roman festivals, dedicated to the Roman god Saturn. The festival's influence continues to be felt throughout the Western world. Originally celebrated on December 17th, Saturnalia was extended first to 3 and eventually to 7 days. The date has been connected with the winter sowing season, which in modern Italy varies from October to January. Remarkably like the Greek Chronia, it was the liveliest festival of the year.
That means it had a lot of debauchery in it. It was. That's what it means when they say it was lively. Go ahead.
It says slaves were given temporary freedom to say and do what they liked, and certain moral restrictions were eased.
In other words, remember, anytime a people, a nation, a country, a city have laws, those are your moral restrictions. Thou shalt not kill. They got laws against killing. That's a moral restriction. These are your laws. That's all they're talking about. Remember, you got to listen closely to these folks when they write this stuff. Go ahead.
So it says the streets were infected with a Mardi Gras madness.
With a what?
A Mardi Gras madness.
During Christmas time, the streets were infected with a Mardi Gras madness. If you ever been to Mardi Gras, you understand what they're talking about. Go ahead.
It says a mock king was chosen, Saturnalius Princeps. The seasonal greeting, Io Saturnalia, was heard everywhere. The closing days of the Saturnalia were known as Sigillaria because of the custom of making, toward the end of the festival, presents of candles, wax models of fruit, and waxen statues, which were fashioned by the Sigillaria or manufacturers of small figures in wax and other media. The cult statue of Saturn himself, traditionally bound at the feet with woolen bands, was untied, presumably to come out and join the fun. It says, the influence of the Saturnalia upon the celebrations of Christmas and the New Year has been direct. The fact that Christmas was celebrated on the birthday of the unconquered sun, Dies Solis Invicta Nati, gave the season a solar background, connected with the calends of January 1st, the Roman New Year. When houses were decorated with greenery and lights, and presents were given to children and the poor. Concerning the gift candles, the Romans had a story that an old prophecy bade the earliest inhabitants of Latium send heads to Hades and Photo to Saturn. The ancient Latins interpreted this to mean human sacrifices. But according to legend, Hercules advised using lights
Mm.
and not human heads. Well, we can drop that there. All right. But
That was about Saturnalia. You're gonna hear some more about Saturnalia come February 14th.
Yeah.
We have no business celebrating any of our oppressors' holidays. Not a single one. What other scripture you got there?
So,
If y'all got any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat now. We still equipped to answer questions. What we can't answer, we're passing on to the brothers over us and get them answered for you. What scripture you got?
So I'm gonna go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 2.
Okay.
Because this is exactly what has happened to us as a people.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we're called Gentiles today. This is why we're called Gentiles in the Bible. Because we do things like celebrate Christmas. Right. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 2. It says, "Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led." Right? You understand? Like that Saturnalia that we're worshiping over in Rome, that is a dumb idol. You
That's
understand?
right.
That is a god in the Roman world, and it is a god that has no power.
None.
These other nations believe when they see these things, they see this big harvest come November or spring comes around and they have some, good harvest or whatever it may be. Because they don't have a god, they attribute these things to, the god Saturnalia. They give thanks to the god of harvest and the god of, the water and different things like that. Because they can't comprehend that these things come from the Most High.
That's right.
You understand? This is where their gods come from. But we as the children of Israel, right back to the beginning with Adam was in communication with the Most High.
That's right.
Adam's being given knowledge of the Most High about things to eat, things not to eat, how to act and conduct ourselves. Different, holidays or days that are above other days are being passed on to Adam, and he's understanding this knowledge and passing it on to his lineage. That's why it says from Adam to Methuselah to Noah, you know what I mean? All these different prominent figures in Adam's line, because it's showing you that this way of life and his relationship he had with the Most High was something that gave us the knowledge of what's going on in this earth. Other nations don't have that knowledge. It says, "Ye know that ye were Gentiles." Why? Because Israelites were called Gentiles because they're celebrating other nations. They're celebrating and worshiping the god of Saturnalia.
That's right.
They're taking on customs of monogamy. They're taking on different customs of, eating swine's flesh and these different things because they were put in slavery and captivity to other nations.
That's right.
They're living in Persia, there's living in Rome and Assyria and Babylon. And we took on these other cultures. You understand? What Marshall read earlier about King Solomon marrying all these different wives, doing things that God told us not to do. We start taking on the culture of other nations. That's why it says, "You know that ye were Gentiles." You understand?
And if you are still celebrating these different holidays, okay, I pushed the wrong button. Sorry about that. If you're celebrating these different holidays, then you still Gentiles. You are Gentiles. You get mad. You see the brothers up and down on the corners You see us on these corners and spilling this truth, and you always have something negative to say. That's what Gentiles should do. You see, they should have something negative to say when we're talking, thus saith the Most High, because it doesn't work out for them. Let me tell you a secret. And Shayawan can tell you I'm 100% right. Look at my eyes. We know how the book ends.
God.
we know how it ends now.
God.
You know what I'm saying? We know how it is. So we're teaching y'all now. Oh, this answers the question of why we even care enough to get out here. Get me, my people perish.
Come on,
my people perish. Look at here. We trying to stop one of your problems. One of your problems, a problem of ignorance. You understand? A problem of ignorance. Let me know when you get there.
God, so I got it. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6.
Take your time.
It says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge."
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Since before they overturn the what is that thing that they give it to you because you black? What they call that? They give you can go to school, called you black, you get a job, called you black. Affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
Right. Since before they turned affirmative action on his head, we just didn't know there was a plan to keep us under their foot. And it was a simple plan. Make them sin. Force them to sin. Not with guns, not with whips against their backs, but with basketball teams and boxers. What do you think, Shayawan? They're not walking up and down the streets of Detroit or the streets of Ontario with guns, say, nigga, get in that house or we gonna kill you. No, they don't do that. They don't do that. But one of the biggest buildings that cover a landmass in the city of Detroit is a ball stadium. It's a damn ball stadium. They play football there. You understand? That's where their money goes into. That's what's important to Detroit. You see what I'm saying? Not telling people the truth. Go ahead.
If I could, so yeah, it's interesting how, and I heard General YAHANNA say this, how, it's like we bleed for our country. You know what I mean? Like, we as Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous, we're so pro-America that we do things like we'll stampede inside a Walmart, run over people just to get a present for our kids. You know what I mean? Like, we're so pro-American in this place. I saw a brother when we were down in Detroit. We were interviewing, asking about, what they thought about the election.
All right.
And this brother is sitting here just, he bleeds Democrat. He don't care.
You're trying to say he was kind of upset.
You know what I mean? It's like, it didn't matter that, what was it? I think it was Kamala Harris said she stood for women for the right to unalive their babies. And he said, I was against that. I'm against, abortion. But I bleed Democrat.
How many black folks in the United States you think?
Oh, I'm not sure, sir.
It's around 40 million.
Let me look that up real quick.
Since you touched on Kamala, I gotta just just throw this out there because it's to your point. From 1973 or whenever Roe versus Wade went in place,
right,
until recently when Donald Trump had them overturn it, over 40 million Black children were unalive during that time period. Well over 40 million, ain't but about 43 million of us here right now. That's if we only count Blacks, which means our population could have doubled since then. You understand? It could have doubled since then, but we are destroyed. We are destroyed because we have, what do we have? We have what the preachers give us. That's what we got.
Yeah, those preachers tell us to celebrate Christmas. We don't care where it comes from. We don't care if it's in the Bible or not, but pastor said to do it. You know what I mean? Pastor said to do it, and, you know, he's appeasing the people that are over him.
That's right. That's right.
Getting paid to say this. This is what our oppressor wants us to say and how he wants us to live. Like that pastor, when we go and we can do classes in the history of this, you know, that the Baptist church, that pastor was given the slave Bible. And when he knew how to recite those different passages in that slave Bible, Master would allow him to have a church.
And the church, you say he was given what type of Bible?
The slave Bible.
Okay. That means it wasn't based on the truth. He was given the church of other slaves. They had to go to him to learn the Bible. And yet the Bible they gave him to teach didn't have the whole Bible in it. You see that? Didn't even have the whole Bible in it. Go ahead.
Yep. Right. And so I'll jump back to, you know, not to get too far off topic. We're in Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6.
Read.
It says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge."
For lack of knowledge. Go ahead.
"Because thou hast rejected knowledge."
Okay, listen. Because Israel, you have rejected knowledge. Go ahead.
"I will also reject thee."
The Most High will also reject Israel. Go ahead.
"That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God."
Damn. You see what sin proves? Sin proves you've forgotten the laws of your God. You've forgotten the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. That's all sin tells us, shows of us, is that we have forgotten how to obey the Most High. You understand? Ever since I've been in school, I found something to be quite amazing. And I noticed it from day one. The first day I was in the school and I was scratching my head like, what's wrong with these Negroes here? These niggas are something else. They different, right? Okay. And that is the true brotherhood that makes all American holidays unnecessary. If you keep the Most High's holy days, I'm telling you, you're going to be partying all the time. No, you're going to party all the time. Very few days is like the Day of Atonement. When you go 24 hours, no food, no water, no nothing. That's a hard day. But any other day, all we have to worry about is obeying the law, statute, commandments. Why is I say that's the only thing? Because that's all the other peoples in the world try to get us to disobey. Well, it's all right if you're gay. No, it's not. You hear what I'm saying? It's all right if you celebrate Christmas. No, it's not. Go ahead, Shadiwa.
So, yeah, if I could say to that point, This is John chapter 10, verse 22. It says, and it was at Jerusalem.
It was
the
where?
Feast at Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
The feast of the dedication. And it was winter.
And it was what?
Winter.
Winter. The feast of dedication was performed in winter. Go ahead.
That's it on that verse. If I could.
Con.
This year, the feast of dedication is December 25th.
That's true. That's true.
That's what Christ would be celebrating this year.
That's what he would celebrate. He would celebrate the feast of dedication. You see, he would not. Christ has never celebrated Christmas. I hate to bust your bubble, but I know you think Christ got all types of toys and the Christmas tree for his birthday. Christ got to be born in a filthy, dirty manger. That's what he got. He got to be born in a filthy, dirty manger who mama and daddy didn't own enough wealth to put him up in some plush place where he could be born. But he was born in that nasty manger and placed, born in that nasty barn and then placed in that manger. Go ahead, right. Doc. What you got?
Sir. Yeah, it's it's like Christ. When Christ was alive, he wasn't celebrating Christmas.
No,
and it shows, like we just read through it. During this time in Rome, they had festivals going on.
All types of festivals.
They had their winter festival.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Christ was celebrating the Feast of Dedication.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And so, yep. That verse you're bringing out in Hosea 4 and 6, it's like,
ooh,
we've forgotten the law of our God. You know what I mean? We've go ahead, sir.
That's the big thing with us. We just won't keep the law, statute, commandments.
God.
That's a real problem. I listen to some sisters. Oh man, shouldn't have more. No, you just don't want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. God. That's all it is. It's your excuse not to keep the law, statute, commandments. But the Bible says God is not mocked. You're going to pay for everything you've ever done to the Israelites. You're going to pay for that.
God.
Go ahead. You got something?
If I could, too, to this comment, this person says, I want to be a part of the army. I'm not sure if you're talking about the Lord's army or America's army, but, that feast of dedication that Christ kept, he's commemorating a war of his people, commemorating a war and honoring a war that Judas Maccabeus, and those mighty men, destroyed the Greeks.
That's right.
Understand? And so to take on, again, to even want to be a part of America's army, if that's not your nation of people, that's the land that raped, robbed, and enslaved your ancestors, and now you're going to be a part of their army, is so backward to Christ.
That's so true. That's absolutely backwards.
Come on, sir. I'll drop that, though.
Read that. The next scripture you got. We got
come on,
like we only got about 15 minutes left.
Come on, sir. Let's jump to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 4.
I hope you're writing these scriptures down, people. Hope you're writing them down, because you're going to hear them again and again and again and again. Go ahead, read what you got.
Come on, sir. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 4, and it says, as concerning therefore the eating of those things that is offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world.
An idol is what?
Nothing in the world.
An idol is what?
Nothing in the world.
LeBron James is what?
Nothing in the world.
Kendrick Lamar is what?
Nothing in the world.
P. Diddy is what?
Nothing in the world.
Read it from the top. What?
So if I could, Saint Nicholas or Saint Nicholas, he is nothing in the world.
Nothing. Nothing. I'm really look. I'm trying to keep a smile on my face because I'm really trying to figure out what the hell y'all doing. What? You gonna go out here, you're gonna celebrate Christmas, you're gonna help Walmart get over, make another 15, 20, 30, $100 million. You got all these other big box stores that if you don't spend money this Christmas, they're not here next spring. They're gonna be closing. You understand? They are going to be closing because even the businessman is so much money in the Christmas that there are businesses right here in Detroit don't make a dollar of profit until after Christmas. You understand? And then when they got that period from the day after Christmas until about the 1st of February, these little jokers go around here tearing stuff up, Doc. Tearing stuff up. You see? And we got to let them know. And the reason they do it because their parents are lost. Their parents lack knowledge. Their parents didn't teach them that Christmas was an abomination. You see what I'm saying? Help me out, now.
Come on, sir. It says, as concerning, therefore, the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols.
Watch this. Read.
We know, we know that an idol is nothing in the world.
An idol is what?
Nothing in the world.
So look at here. Your white Jesus is nothing. Nothing. You understand? All the pretty that's gotten older, the gospel females that's up in front of congregations, nothing. The Creflo Dollars, nothing. All the people that got you celebrating Christmas are what in the world?
Are nothing in the world.
Nothing in the world. Keep reading.
And that there is none other God but one.
Let me explain something. You do what God wants you to do, what Yahweh wants you to do, or you do nothing. Or you sin against Yahweh, basically. You do what he wants him to do, or it get counted as sin against you. So every last one, and watch this. We get scared to mention it. But we telling you, Yahweh is unaliving folks these days, understand? He's catching your attention. Let them holidays go, them so-called holidays. Read what you got, Doc.
Okay, so that's it on that scripture. Grab another one. This is Ecclesiasticus, chapter 33 and verse 7.
Yeah, I know we're going over into the Apocrypha. Read what you got.
Okay, so it says, why doth one day excel another? When as all the light of every day and it is Salakia. Why doth one day excel another? And Salakia. Why doth one day excel another? When as all the light of every day in the years of the sun. It says, by thy knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished. And he altered seasons and feasts. Some of them hath he made high days and hollowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days. You understand? And that's the difference between these different days that we're supposed to be celebrating as Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous.
That's right.
The Lord separated these days. We shouldn't be following what Rome did. We shouldn't be following some customs that a king said to do. We shouldn't be following what Washington Irving said to do.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And his love for Yuletide and St. Nicholas and, you know, reindeers and flying goats and chariots. You know what I mean? His that ham dinner on Christmas and the log and all those different things that we do today on Christmas. None of these days were ordained by the Lord.
Not one.
He told us in Leviticus chapter 23 that the Day of Atonement is a holy day. He told us in Leviticus 23 that the Sabbath is a holy day.
That's right.
The Feast of Atonement, the Feast of Tabernacles, the Passover, you know, all these different things. These are the days that the Lord hallowed. Christmas isn't one of them.
No Christmas, no American holiday is honored by the Most High. He said, "I will not smell in your what is that? I will not smell
your solemn assemblies."
In your solemn assemblies. You come together so religiously. And those Sunday, you look so pious, and you just look so beautiful on Sunday. And the Most High say, "I won't smell in those assemblies. Don't nothing smell good in there." Why? Because you keep law, statute, and commandments belonging to another people, and you don't keep it for yourself. You don't keep the Lord's law, statute, and commandments. You keep the American law. You see, you keep something totally different. You keep a law where it says it's all right for a man to marry a man. Go ahead, give what you got. Give me what you got.
So, yeah, we got a little couple minutes left. I'll just read the end of the article. This was, again, in that article about how Washington Irving shaped Christmas in America. Okay, so this is the end of that article.
Take us on out then.
So it says, as Burstein points out, Irving dressed up an idea that had been floating around until the end of his life, or so it seems. Irving saw Christmas not only as an indulgence, but as a spiritual necessity.
That it's not.
God. It says
a spiritual necessity. All right.
God. It's crazy.
It sounds funny to us because we know better. We know the difference. But we see folk caught up in that every day, and what make it so bad is for the same simple reason. Read that part again a little bit.
So it says, until the end of his life, Irving saw Christmas not only as an indulgence, but a spiritual necessity. And if I could, sir, it's like, and these other nations, you know, they take parts of the Bible because they understand there's parts that are good. You know what I mean? Like it'll say in the American law that you're not allowed to unalive somebody. But then another woman will come up and say, well, you know, my dad and my mother were horrible people and they shouldn't have had the right to have kids. And all of a sudden you have America fighting for the right to abort a child. And it's like these two things conflict. And a people without the laws, statutes, and commandments trying to make sense of the world, they lack knowledge. That's why God said that the wisdom of this world is foolishness to God. You understand? It's like we take into our own hands as a people trying to figure out what's right or wrong. We do nonsense like allow abortion to be passed as a law. You understand? And we see after year, like you said, after 40 years, it's like you see a whole nation cut in half because of all the babies that are being aborted. This is the nonsense that we buy into. And as this man here is saying, Christmas is a spiritual necessity. Like, he believes in St. Nicholas. You know what I mean? He believes in St. Nicholas and Yuletide, and he believes coming together on this day is a beautiful thing.
Yep.
But then we as a people, 200 years later, we're spending our rent money and all our our car note and our car bills and this and that to get a child a gift when we're hurting our family. You know what I mean? Like, these things aren't a spiritual necessity. And so this is why it's so important to go to the Bible to see what is a spiritual necessity.
Right.
The Lord gives us everything and puts it all in perspective. He tells us how to act and how not to act. And we see when we follow the Most High, we see that our life is good. This is why he says, choose life or death. That's what it's all about. He's not telling us to keep these holy days for no reason.
That's right.
These days have importance. They teach us not to be selfish. You understand? They teach us discipline. Day of Atonement's a beautiful day to learn, how to discipline yourself.
But what does Christmas teach you?
Selfishness. You know what I mean? To sit there and cry about a gift.
There it is.
Like, the day is all about me.
Grown people with bad knees and bad backs bending down on the floor to get something out from under a Christmas tree. Y'all got to miss me with that garbage. I'm just telling you now.
Okay. Yeah, but Salaki, I went off a little. Let me finish up this. We got 2 minutes left. It says, he who can turn churlishly away from contemplating the felicity of his fellow beings, he wrote, and can sit down darkling and repining in his loneliness when all around is joyful, may have his moments of strong excitement and selfish gratification. There it is right there. But he wants the genial and social sympathies which constitute the charm of a Merry Christmas. Good night.
I'm listening to you.
He's telling you, Salaki, it said right there that he knew that people had a selfish gratification. But regardless of that, he wants people to focus on the joy and the social sympathies which constitute the charm of a Merry Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, damn, they're telling us to just be in denial of everything that's going on around you. Let's just focus on being happy.
Feel good. He wants you to feel good. When you think of Christmas, he wants you to feel good now. He wants you to know all the songs. He wants you to know all the songs. What's that one they got coming? The kids gonna love it. It's beginning to look a lot like. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard that one? It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Here it comes. All that garbage is coming now. And look, you can't cut on the TV without a commercial. Without some type of Christmas commercial. They selling everything right now. Don't be surprised if you're able to buy babies on the TV. They selling everything for Christmas right now. Go ahead.
So with that, I'm gonna end the class. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say.
I'm good.
I want to say to water in the chat. Sir.
I'm gonna say Shalom Yahweh Shem Thumb. Shalom Yahweh Shema Thumb by Shem Yahweh Shah. Shalom.
Shalom to water for tuning in.